morning, everyone. Welcome back again for another edition of the class, Making Something Out of Nothing. The acronym is MSOON. I shortened it since it's so long, making something out of nothing. However, what we were working on last week were our fun palm art creations. And today we are going to show some of those particular pieces. If anyone is interested in showing those, we're going to give people a couple of minutes to get on while we're doing that to get started on our project that we were making with our rolled paper tubes. So while we're getting started with that, I will just go ahead and let you know the materials that you're going to be needing today. So while we're allowing a few more people to get on in the class, you will be able to get these tools if you need them. Today I have scissors. Of course, I've made a lot of these rolled paper tubes, as you can see. If you don't have any today, good job, Miss Betty. If you don't have any today, you still have a chance to go ahead and make some after today. And if anybody needs a demonstration on how to make those, I'll do that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on my apron and continue to say the supplies that you need. So it's up to you. You can definitely use your hand to press out the tubes, but however, I'm using my hand and I have this rolling pin. You don't necessarily have to have a rolling pin, but also I have a piece of newspaper to glue on top of so that I can protect my table. If you need newspaper, you want to grab that. So what you need, especially for today, is some kind of stiff paper, possibly an old piece of cardboard. That's what I have here. And you don't need cardboard per se. You can even use card stock, any type of stiff paper. Cardboard, card stock. All right, I just have both. You can get a piece of cardboard off the side of a box if you're not actually using it that much. Okay, for today, the pieces that we're going to be making, I have this cup right here. You see, it's just a regular size cup, the size of my hand, but I'm actually using this bottom right here to roll my particular piece out on. So you're going to be needing some type of, even a can. Let me get a can right quick because a can works really well. Just for example, if you have a can like this, a can is fine as well. But try to use a cup that you can sacrifice because the cup will be getting some glue on it per se. You either need a can or a cup because you need to have a circle not larger than the palm of your hand. Yep, that's what you're gonna need. And so just moving right along, depending on how far we get today, then I'll let you know some other things you need. That's fine, yep. Even if it's a little bit larger than your hand, that's fine, but pretty much about, you see how the bottom of this cup is fitting in my hand? So you don't want it that large. Even this can is fitting in my hand. That's a good size. All right, so you need some glue. I have white Elmer's glue. I have white Elmer's glue. And that's going to be it for that. So again, the circle was not larger than the palm of my hand. All right. So since we just already basically said the tools that we needed, with the palm creations that we created last week. I was just gonna kind of quickly go through those if anybody has anything finished. If not, it's fine. But however, I said to you all, you can basically decorate those and make them beautiful. And they were really fun for me. So I hope you enjoyed them. And I think I'm just gonna go in alphabetical order if anybody wants to show their pieces. The first piece I have, if you want to grab your palm creations, the first piece I have is a frog.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Oh, isn't that cute?
Anybody got a frog they want to share?
Very cool.
All right, I'm moving right along. So even still, these will inspire you all to go ahead and finish your pieces. The next piece in alphabetical order, I have the giraffe. Y'all remember those palm creations?
Yep.
All right, the next one I have is the parrot.
Oh, that's the one I had in.
I don't remember all the other stuff behind it.
I said that you have to create your own backgrounds and your ideas. I said, go ahead and make it a finished art piece.
That's a good thing. Yeah, we'll do that now. We see.
What are you talking about? I have a peacock.
Wow.
That's a nice tree behind it.
Thank you, Ms. Vicky. You can do the same thing. All right. So I have this rabbit.
Rabbit.
The next one I have is the snail. I made it like it was climbing up a tree.
Oh.
The next one I have is the snake.
Yeah.
Y'all see he trying to catch a mouse. All right, and the last two I have is, so we did I would say it was a Caucasian woman. You could make it any woman you want. However, since I got two women, woman W is the last one. Since African woman comes before C, I'll just show her African woman first.
Hey, when did we do that one? I don't have that one.
I changed my lady to a black lady. So
well, I was out that week, I guess.
This is the one we did. This is the one we did.
No, I wasn't there that week.
That was last week. That was last week.
Last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like a knuckle like this.
Oh.
Remember that?
Oh.
It was like knuckle. Yeah.
Okay, I remember.
I said because she looked, I don't know, I just wanted to make one look, it's the same actual piece. Same thing. All right. So if you all, so again, go ahead and be creative and finish those. You can add them to your portfolios, some type of book like that if you like, even sign them. I would say mine are not completely finished because I still have to sign them. And you see I made a tongue for the frog catching a fly or something. All right. So today, the first thing you want to do, we're going to make 2 wheels, WHEELS. We're making 2 wheels out of those paper tubes. So I recommend, wheels are usually black, right? Dark. I recommend if you can pick out at least 8 dark colored tubes out of there. And it doesn't even really matter to that aspect as well because you may decide to paint your pieces. But I'm just going to go ahead and choose 8 dark pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 right here and you see they are dark colored. Then I'm going to go ahead and choose 8 more. You need 16 out of your bunch. 1, and so So we may have to complete this project in 3 sessions, depending on how it goes. But it'll be all fun and a beautiful project. So just bear with me with however the time of our class permits us. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. I have 16 and 8 particular tubes will be making each wheel. If you need to jot down any of this information, please do so. All right. So for the first 8, what you want to do is take 1 tube and go ahead and make sure you have your glue, find one end and try to see if you are able to insert this one side and the other. Don't push it down so far, but however, you have to test each tube before you go on and do that. So what I like to do is just go ahead and put some glue in that side of the tube. Not a lot. Then go ahead, since you already tested that tip, go ahead and slide that back in. And this is the first extension. We are extending the tubes. Now what you can do is go ahead and smash out a part of that, at least half, and continue to, you can start, what we're gonna do is use the cylinder, what we had to roll the flat tubes around. However, what I like to do to go ahead and multitask and get mass produced per se, is to go ahead and line 8 tubes already together. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my second tube, test it to see if it slides down. Go ahead and glue, I'm gonna do 8.
How far do you slide it down the tube?
Maybe about this much. Sometimes just a little bit until it actually stops, but if it goes too far, like too far down, you don't want to push it all the way down because that's wasting your tube. All right, so I'm testing the third one. I'm gonna go ahead and put 8 together just to go ahead and make sure for the sake of the class and the time that we're getting something done. So this is gonna stretch all the way across my table. If it's too long for you, then maybe you might not want to stretch it that far. I'm testing my next one. That one goes in pretty good. Yep, you just want them to go in a little bit. And sometimes they might even kind of slide out as you're working, but it's okay, you can still keep going. I'm on my 6th one. 6th paper tube. And I failed to test that one, but I know I can pick a small side. Just go in 7 and 8, and I'm almost finished. I'm going ahead and test my 7th one.
Amazing they're going now when all them roll the same.
Okay, I got the idea, but I'm doing 3. So.
And 8. You can do these one at a time, but just for the sake of the class and getting it done, I'm just going on ahead and doing it. So now you see I have a long paper tube. This is 8 right here. What I can do is let this dry a couple of seconds. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. That's the best option to make. As you can see from this end to this end, that's 8 tubes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the next 8. Remember I said you all needed 16. While I'm doing this next row, I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry a little bit. So working on the next one.
You're gonna need 16 together as one?
No, two separate
Okay.
poles. One with 8 and the next one with 8. You're making 2 wheels. So they're 2 separate wheels. All right, going on to the next one. We're making good time and good progress. I'm on the 3rd one. Forgot to test that one to see if it was gonna fit, but it did. So now I'm gonna get back to my testing, and I'm kind of talking to myself, making sure I'm doing the right steps, and talking to you all, of course. All right, that one was a little short, but even still, it's gonna glue there. I'm continuing on. I have 4 more to go. I'm testing 6 to see if it fits. Yep. However, sometimes they might fit backward, and so I'm putting the glue here and sliding this portion up into it. All right, and I'm on 7. I have to test it to see if it's gonna fit. And 8, testing it. All right. All right. Okay. So I just finished my second long tube right here. So I'm gonna sit that to the back and let that dry a little and bring my first one back to the front. What I'm gonna do is you can either take your hand and press it out, or you can take, right now I'm gonna just use my roller pin. Press it out flat. Be careful when you slide it across because you might be sliding the tubes out from each other. If you do, just try to take your time and connect it back into the hole. Even though you're still gonna have to press once you go around your piece, this just helps to flatten it out beforehand. Instead of pushing out, I like to roll toward me so that I don't pull the tubes apart from each other. So I'm rolling toward myself. Try to flatten it the same way on the same size all the way down. All right. So as you can see, my piece is pretty much flat. And what I'm going to do, one of my pieces came apart. I'm just going, and the reason why it's coming apart is because it's not completely dry yet. All right. So now I'm going to take the bottom of my cylinder or cup, and I'm going to start to roll the tube around the bottom. And the one trick is you have to really hold it tight as you go on and go as slow as you need to. Off the table, so I'm picking it back up. All right. I'm actually just pressing it first. All right. So once I get the piece of paper all the way around the cup once, like so, I'm going to start to add glue in the inside of the strip so I can start to glue it together. So as you can see, I'm adding glue, just a bit that I can handle, and you're going to be getting glue on your hands, and I'm starting to circle around the paper. And now when glue stop, I'm going to add a little bit more, as much as I can handle. You want to use enough glue, but not running, not too much. Continue to press around. As the long tubes get shorter, you'll be able to control it better. The glue has stopped. I'm going to press this with my hand a little bit more and add some more glue. So I'm going around. And I'm gonna do that until I finish, but remember to continue to hold it tight and press it tight as you're gluing the wheel together. I'm adding more glue. And I'm going around, pressing it tight and flat as possible, turning my cylinder as I'm pressing down. So before I add the next portion of glue, I'm gonna press my paper tube again with my fingers to make sure it's as flat as I like it. I'm gonna add more glue because I want the whole entire roll to be solid and glued together as I go. And as you can see, I'm rolling tight and I'm making sure to press it all level. So even though we have 8 tubes, that's not a lot to just go around making a wheel. So just have fun with it. And now I have to add more glue. Going on around, leveling it out, going on down. I'm just gluing again as much as I feel like I can control and handle without everything being too messy, dripping. Press that amount. I'm almost to the end. Now I have to press it with my hand again. That feels pretty flat. Adding more glue. And I'm going around. So the tubes that I produced, I actually just used one whole magazine. So one magazine was really enough for me, although I might make a few more tubes because with this project, I've already created what I think is going to be 2. So I probably need like a few more tubes, but one magazine is good for you to make 1. All right, I'm pressing on down, almost finished. Remember to, as it starts to hang over, so to speak, level it out, but you'll be able to level it once you really get everything all the way together. And as you can see, I'm at the end, but I still have a little bit more ways to go. I'm gonna press, keep working, young people, you can do it. Just takes a little bit of applying yourself, and don't give up, keep going. You'll get it done. All right, I'm almost at the end. Like I said, I'm gonna add more glue. I think I'm gonna go all the way to the end now. And wrap that around. And this part is a little tricky because I gotta make sure to press tight. Start to press. As you can see, this is what I have. And what I'm gonna do is gently hold the end of the tail, but start to work it off the cylinder, so to speak. All right, we have it off. Now what I'm gonna do is just kind of gently press all the glue together, all the tubes, coils at the end of that tail. You can press it on your table newspaper to make sure it's level like so. Other side, turn it over. And that tail, it has like a, remember the little hole in it? So I want to add a little bit more glue to the inside of that and press it down. I'm slicking some glue over it, making sure that last roll is sealed a little tight. And this is basically how one wheel is gonna look. So did you all complete the wheel yet?
Not yet.
Keep working on it.
No.
It's okay, keep going, because what I'm gonna do while you're working on that wheel is to go ahead and make a second one. And that's what you want to do, is make 2 of these, and that's why we chose 8 tubes a piece so that they will end up the same size. So this is the one I've done. As you can see, you might not be able to see, but I have a lot of glue on my hand. As soon as you wash your hands under just clear water, it's gonna come off. However, I've already pre-made 2 wheels. As you can see, they are the same size because we use the same amount of tubes, 8 tubes. Now, just so before you'll have something else to do, I want you to go ahead and make 2 of the 2 of the wheels with 8 tubes apiece. And then I don't know what to say other than the circumference of this particular container. What I have like a shea butter container. And the reason why I'm using this is because I was about to throw it away because it's empty. But even still, right after I use it in this project, I'm gonna throw it, I'm gonna toss it. But I saw that it had some use. That's how I'm always making something out of nothing. This had some use before I tossed it. As you can see, the size of the circle compared to the bottom of this, it fits in my hand still, but right around the whole entire palm, so to speak. You need a larger circle.
Kim, could I use something like
The top of the
same
cup.
paper cup, and I can use the bottom of the cup and then
Yes.
the top?
Yes,
And
because
in
you
my
see
palm.
this? Yes, ma'am. The top is about the same size as here. So the reason why I just didn't use the top, because it's going at an angle, you got to kind of just keep it at the edge so it can stay flat. However, I want you to make 2 wheels with 8 tubes, and then I want you to get, if you're writing this down, please don't forget, I want you to get, if you can find dark colored tubes, and once again, if I decide not to paint this, then my wheels are already a dark color. So I want you to get dark colored tubes and get at least 12.
Okay.
You need 12. You're making 3 wheels in total. 2 with 8 tubes and 1 with 12. Now the 12 will be the one, as you can see, this is large. This is the one that's going around the top of the cup, or like I used, a shea butter container. This is larger. I'm going to show you the size compared to these wheels. This is larger than that wheel.
Yes, okay.
So this is only 12 tubes and this is 8 tubes. You need to go ahead and make 3 wheels, 2 with 8 tubes and 1 with 12 tubes. And while we're still online, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me questions, but I'm going to go ahead and complete my second wheel. If you all are still working, feel free to keep working. I'm just going to go ahead and do that second wheel. This is my first one. And now, once again, I'm going to roll this rolling pin, holding the paper while I roll so it doesn't come loose. And by that time, somewhat, it should have been dried a little, but not completely. Rolling the tubes out, flatten them, just giving me a little bit of help so I don't have so much trouble while I'm rolling my wheel. Sometimes the tube is gonna get wimpy, bend, break. It's okay. If it breaks, you can just add the tube right on and keep rolling. All right. So getting my cup again and starting to roll the edge of this paper until I get 1 full circle around. Once you have the paper around 1 full time, then it's time to add your glue. Once again, this is the second wheel. Anybody finish their first wheel yet? Miss Betty, that's your first wheel? Okay, I think you probably muted, Miss. Oh, I can't hear you. No problem. I can't hear you, Miss Betty, but I see your wheel. I don't know why. Maybe your volume isn't turned up. It doesn't say you are muted. How you doing, Miss Naomi? I still can't hear you, Miss Betty. Sorry. Oh, while I'm talking to Miss Betty, I done rolled and rolled and put it up to. I'm sorry, Miss Betty. Hold on. Let me spotlight your video. Hold on. Go back a little bit. My mic don't work, but I can hear you. Yes, ma'am. It's no problem, but I did see your wheel. All right. Once again, I'm going ahead and add this glue. I'm going to kind of add a lot this time so I can get a bit much more done. I hope I don't make a mess. Which, you know, art can be messy sometimes. All right.
But Kim, you wouldn't glue the whole thing before you start rolling it, huh?
I wouldn't. You can't. Why would you glue the whole thing? It's hanging on the floor. That means once you start turning, it's gonna be getting glue on the floor. You know, that's why I said only do the amount that you can control as you roll it up towards you. I would definitely wouldn't do that, but somebody might have some plastic down and feel like they can do it. I don't know. But I'm actually finishing this one much faster because I am taking longer strides, meaning gluing a little bit longer. Like that much is pretty much what I can handle. Even though I was doing it shorter before, just to show you how to manage it. All right, and I'm going on ahead to finish this so we can sign off our class. And remember, you need to have 3 wheels, 2 the same size with the 8 pieces. And I'm glad this kind of broke so that I can show you how to fix the brake without having to slide it back in. A piece of mine is on the floor. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off.
What if you don't have dark wheels, but maybe about...
It doesn't matter if you don't have dark wheels because I said once you finish, you may decide to paint your piece.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying that you can use some dark wheels. If you have them, you might not decide to paint the whole entire thing. You might leave some of your magazine pieces. Anyway, this is the piece that broke. So right here where I ended off at, I'm just gonna kind of like put some glue right there. It's just like connecting it. I'm gonna tack it on top and hold it and just keep going. But however, right there, I need to add glue. So I'm adding the glue and continue to roll. Roll it. Remember to hold it tight, press it tight. You don't want it all loosey-loosey. All right, I'm almost at the end. Miss Vanessa! Woo!
Hey, I made it finally.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? How's everybody?
Great, thanks.
What's the purpose of the paste board? You said get some
board. What
you said get some
Okay, so we have to, I'll give y'all the next piece if y'all want it, because I guess y'all trying to say, you're trying to say you got the wheels down. So
No, I haven't done my wheel. I'm observing so I could do them off air.
All right, so I'll give you one more instruction. If someone misses this last instruction that Miss Vicky is asking for, we'll start there next week. However, I'll go ahead and give you one more thing to do, because right now I'm finished with my second wheel. Remember I said at the end, you want to put some glue in that hole so that will press down as well. It won't be
So
looking.
you started out telling us we needed some newspaper, some Elmer's glue, a cup, and these paper things, and some pasteboard. And I didn't know what the pasteboard.
Those not paper things, those paper tubes.
Paper tube, okay.
All right, remember, press your wheel together, sit it down flat. Make sure you press it flat on both sides, even. Mine is coming loose, so that means I need to add a little bit more glue. As soon as I get this, make sure this is tight, Miss Vicky. I'll give you the directions for the next piece. My hands are glued. All right, this is my second wheel, and it should be the same size as you can see of my first wheel. These are my two wheels. I'm going to press the second one together just a bit more. Perfection, ladies, perfection. This is going to be a really beautiful project. I'll let y'all know what's going to be next week. However,
I suspect I know, but I'm not sure.
all right. So for the next thing, y'all can see I'm rubbing my fingers together to try to get some of that glue off. For the next piece, you're going to need either a piece of cardboard. I like to have a piece of cardboard for my base. We're making actually a cup. It's like it could be a holder. I'm just gonna say a holder. I'm gonna use this Myers verbena candle. It's the same size as the top of that cup that you had, Miss Vicky. So it's a circle. To me, if you're gonna have something holding something, I just wanted to have pretty much a nice space.
Solid base, okay.
So I'm gonna, if you need to write this down, if you're not doing it actually now, go ahead and write it down. You need to make a base for a container or a holder. And don't forget, you need some hard stock, some kind of stiff paper. Go ahead and cut that out.
What you trying to get back to?
That piece you use go inside the cup, or
The base of the cup. It's the base.
okay.
It's the bottom. So now you're going to get your card stop. As you can see, I have card stop. You have to gauge how tall you want your piece, you know, at the level, from the level of the base. But I don't want my cylinder this tall. So it's up to you how tall you want yours. What I'm going to do is take my ruler and cut the paper to the level that I want my container, so to speak. And I'll show you. I drew a line. Sorry.
It's an invisible line.
I know.
Oh, okay.
It's not half, but it's kind of like a third. But it's up to you how tall you want it. And so from there, the side that I had my line, I'm going to turn it to the opposite side. And it's up to you if you want to use like some kind of decorative paper or magazine paper. You can use magazine magazine paper or some kind of decorative paper. I think I'm gonna use this decorative paper today.
You know, I'm sort of lost. How do I know how tall I want it to be when I don't know what it is going to be?
It's a holder, like there's something to hold, like let's say pencils.
Oh, a pencil holder.
It's
Oh,
not a pencil holder. I'm just saying the holder,
plant holder or whatever, any kind of holder.
meaning I don't want to say it's a pencil holder because once you finish, you might decide to put paper clips in there. I don't really know, but this is not even a necessary step. However, the side that I drew the line on, I'm gluing paper on the other side because that's going to be the inside of my piece. And for some reason, I just felt like I wanted it to be looking decorative. So what I'm going to do is add some glue to that side of the paper and glue that down so that I can have a decorative inside. You can glue magazine papers, like I said, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Once again, this is the side. This is the reason why I left the side with the ink pen, so I'll still know where to cut. The decoration is on that side. All right, so now I'm cutting through that. Oh, sorry. Once you make a line where you're gonna cut, you can see that. I want you to make a line about 2 to 3 inches. I'll show you from that line here. Yeah, you can see that. And this, I'm gonna cut the top line. So I'm cutting the bottom line of the top line, the second line that I drew. And on this side, I'm cutting the decorative paper off of my cardstock. It's just a filler to make it a little thick. And from right here, where I had my next line, I'm gonna cut individual lines to the line that I drew. As you can see, you see that?
Yes.
All right. So kind of even, not too thin, not too thick. You want to go all the way down. Then the edge where you cut the strips here, where the line is, this is where you're going to add glue and roll the paper around the cylinder. And these tabs are where you're going to add glue to add it to the bottom. So I'm adding glue to the line. I'm taking my circle, starting to roll my paper halfway there. I'm going to add some glue to these strips and start to tack them to the bottom of the base, so to speak. After you finish that, when you get it all together. I'm still adding my glue. I'll go ahead and do that. We have a couple of minutes too, so I can go ahead and finish letting you know that. All right.
But the whole idea is to get the paper to stick to the bottom of the cardboard.
The actual tabs are
Yeah.
going to, you see that?
Yes.
As you roll around, the tabs are going to go there. Don't worry, I'm going. The glue don't dry that fast, so, you know, I have to hold it just a couple of seconds.
But when I glue, I usually will put a piece of tape, but that would cause, you know.
You can add tape just to hold it.
Okay.
That's something, it's nothing wrong with that.
Painter's tape that doesn't stick to things,
It doesn't matter if it sticks. You can always still add another piece of paper on the bottom for stability.
okay.
It's just the bottom. So far, this is what I have. I'm just holding it a bit. All right, going on around. Adding glue to those tabs. So I can just, all right. Don't forget, since you have two levels of paper, I had to put glue in between the white paper and that decorative paper. As you fold it over, you'll see it pop up, meaning on the tabs, I don't think I glued that part, that portion. Almost done. Now, as the paper gets a little wet or moist from the glue, then it's gonna seem to be a little flimsy. Just don't beat it up. All you have to do is just slowly continue to work it. I'm gonna press it down on the paper a little, put my hand inside, just to give it full compression. All right, so from there, I think I have a little clip till that dries. So even for my standards, I cut this down some. It's still a little tall for me. However, I'm gonna keep it probably that tall. All right, I'm adding some glue to my seam. If your paper does not go all the way around your piece, you know, you can add another little piece in. All right, from there, what you're going to do is take your tubes and you're going to glue them individually around the entire piece. I'll go ahead and start that so you can see. All right, so if I were, the reason why I don't want this that tall, so if I were to cut this tube in half, then I have two halves to use. So I'm going to just go ahead and line about 4 or 5 of them up evenly. I'm taking my ruler. These tubes should be almost about 12, about the length of a ruler. So that means I need to go in the middle, make a line at the 6 mark, half. And I'm going to take my scissors and cut those tubes in half. Where I cut them, make sure to cut them straight, because where I cut them is where it's going to lie to the bottom, since it's already leveled. All right. So what I'm saying is the part that I cut, instead of having the tips where they have an angle, you're gonna start the bottoms level all the way around.
So you need a flat surface.
Flat surface. So what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of glue, but enough that I think will hold that on there in about a section that I wanna put at least 3 or 4, so to speak. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start to glue those around the piece. So once again, this particular piece is just a filler or a base to create the actual holder. All right, so I gave you 4 things that you need to do by next class. And actually, we might go ahead and finish this in 2 classes. I'm going on ahead around to complete the glue. So at the end, if you like that jagged edge at the top, you can leave it. But what I do is go ahead and snip it to the edge of the paper so that it can be all neat. And although I am showing you how to do the cylinder type of vessel or holder, I did do one that is like an angle in the cup. And I'll go ahead and show you that it's pre-done.
Cute.
So far the components that you should have made by next week is a holder, 2 wheels that are the same size with the 8 tubes, and 1 larger wheel that is made with 12 tubes. The smaller wheels were made on the bottom of a cup, so to speak, or you can use a can. And the larger wheel was made from the top of the cup because it's a little larger. And both of these pieces do not need to be, this is fitting inside of my hand, although you can see skin around. But right here, it fits probably in the whole circumference of my palm. So next week, you need to have 2 wheels, large wheel, and your container. Are there any questions? If you want to finish any of your palm art drawings, feel free so that we can show and share some of those. If not, we'll go back to those palm ideas later, and we'll go ahead and finish this beautiful project. Thank you so much for joining me, making something out of nothing. I'll see you all next week. Please have fun making your tubes and completing these 3 steps. My name is Kimberlie Wright. Thank you so much for making something out of nothing. Have a wonderful and blessed day.
Thank you, Kim.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Have a wonderful, blessed day. Hey, Miss Naomi.
Hey.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
Bye.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.